The year is 1900. The Asante Kingdom, a proud warrior nation in West Africa, is simmering. 4 brutal wars against the encroaching British Empire had scarred the land. Kumasi, their vibrant capital, lies sacked. Their king, Asantehene Prempeh I, has been ripped from his throne and exiled to the distant Seychelles Islands. The British, cloaked in imperial arrogance, believed they had finally tamed the Asante and silenced their spirit. They were wrong. In an act of breathtaking cultural ignorance, a British governor made a demand so audacious, so profoundly disrespectful, it ignited a firestorm. He reached for the one thing he should never have touched. This single act of provocation plunged the region into a conflict so iconic it came to be named for the very object of his desire, the War of the Golden Stool. But what was this stool? Why did it command such reverence that an already conquered kingdom, weary from battle, rose up in defiance against its new formidable lords? Was it a treasure to be plundered? No. This was something far deeper. Something that struck at the very heart and soul of a people. It was their ultimate symbol, the Sika Dwa Kofi, the Golden Stool. To understand the significance of this sacred object, we must journey back into the very heart of Asante identity. Long before the British cast their shadows, the Akan people, of whom the Asante are a major group, lived as a collection of states and chiefdoms across what is now central and southern Ghana. They shared cultural threads, a common language, but no singular banner. The region was characterized by competition for land, for trade routes, and for power. Then came Osei Tutu, a dynamic military leader from the Oyoko clan. In the late 17th century, through strategic brilliance and battlefield victories, he began to weave these diverse states into a single formidable entity. He consolidated power, established Kumasi as the capital city, and declared himself Asantehene, the king of the newly formed Asante Confederacy. So, an empire was born, and at its peak, its territory stretched from the Komoye River in the west to the Togo Mountains in the east. Its growth was fueled by wealth derived from the region's abundant gold fields, which the Asante had mastered and traded long before European ships appeared on the horizon. Let's go back to the Confederacy. The region had been united, but there was a need to really bring the people together. A powerful symbol was required to legitimize the new authority and create a sense of shared identity among the formerly separate communities. Asante oral tradition tells a dramatic supernatural tale. The story goes that Okomfo Anokye, Osei Tutu's chief priest, a man of immense spiritual power, gathered the Akan chiefs. As he performed sacred rites, invoking the spirits of the sky god Nyame, the heavens themselves responded. Amidst a crackle of thunder and a flash of lightning, the golden stool descended from the heavens and gently landed upon the lap of Osei Tutu. This was interpreted as a divine endorsement of his leadership. Okomfo Anokye declared that the golden stool contained the Sum Sum, that is, the spirit of the entire Asante nation, past, present, and future. The stool's arrival reportedly occurred on a Friday, leading to its specific name, the Sika Dwa Kofi, meaning the golden stool born on a Friday. By establishing that the stool contained the soul of the entire nation, living, dead, and yet to be born, the mythology created a powerful symbol of unity among previously separate groups. This spiritual foundation helped solidify the Ashanti Kingdom's centralized authority and provided a common identity for diverse communities coming together under one rule. According to deeply held cultural beliefs, without the Golden Stool, the Ashanti people would cease to exist as a unified nation and their collective consciousness would be scattered. This belief system has enabled the Ashanti cultural identity to remain resilient through centuries of challenges, including colonization and modernization. We have looked at its origin and its symbolism for the Asante people. But let's go further. It isn't just a fancy chair, nor is it a throne for kings to sit on. The Golden Stool was and is considered more sacred than the Asantehene himself. An absolute unbreakable taboo dictates that no one may ever sit upon it. Not the king, not the highest chief, no one. To do so would be a sacrilege of unimaginable proportion, a defilement of the nation's soul. To understand how serious this is, during the critical rites of the Asantehene's installment, which is the elaborate Asante coronation ceremony, the new king is not seated on the stool. Instead, he is carefully and symbolically lowered and raised over it 3 times, never making physical contact. The stool is considered to have its own throne, and during important ceremonies, it is placed on a special seat next to the Asantehene, symbolizing its status as the true source of authority. This ritual powerfully underscores his role as the servant of the stool, its guardian, not its master. If the stool needs to be moved, it is treated with the utmost reverence, carried on a special pillow often under its own ornate umbrella. The most fundamental protocol concerning the Golden Stool is that it must never touch the ground. This prohibition reflects the stool's elevated spiritual status and protects it from contamination by earthly elements. Direct physical handling of the Golden Stool is an exclusive prerogative of the Asantehene himself, and when not in ceremonial use, it is stored on its side, a gesture that some say allows other souls to rest upon it. Its protection is paramount. Its precise hiding place is a closely guarded secret known only to the reigning Asantehene and a very small circle of trusted advisors. Consequently, the stool is rarely seen in public and is brought out only on exceptionally important and grand occasions. Such is the reverence attached to the stool. Hey, quick reminder, if you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I drop a new video every week diving into African history, culture, and the untold stories that time almost forgot. I especially love hearing from you. If there's a historical figure, a legend, or a cultural story from your part of the continent that deserves a spotlight, drop it in the comments. I'd love to dig into it. So like, subscribe, and let's keep the conversation going. Now, returning to where our story began, let's fast forward to the 19th century. The British, with their insatiable appetite for empire, were expanding their influence along the Gold Coast. Inevitably, tensions with the powerful Asante Empire had escalated into open warfare, and between 1824 and 1874, the Asante had fought 3 major wars against the British forces. This series of conflict, known as the Anglo-Asante Wars, had profound implications for the Golden Stool. During these conflicts, the Asante leadership recognized that the Golden Stool represented the ultimate prize for potential conquerors. Its capture would signify not just military defeat, but the spiritual subjugation of the Asante people. Thus, with each conflict, the measures to protect and hide the stool became more elaborate. Its location became shrouded in deeper secrecy known only to a select few trusted guardians. The Fourth Anglo-Asante War from 1895 to 1896 was a disaster. Asante forces were defeated and Asantehene Prempeh I was exiled. Yet even in this crushing blow, the Asante people made a choice and ensured the Golden Stool remained hidden. They would rather lose their king than lose their soul. And this brings us to the most famous conflict directly centered on the Golden Stool. This conflict was precipitated by the actions of Sir Frederick Mitchell Hodgson. the British governor of the Gold Coast, who demonstrated a profound misunderstanding of the stool's significance. Already dealing with a populace resentful of the exile of their king and the imposition of British authority, Hodgson, in March of 1900, summoned the remaining Asante leaders. What he said next displayed an ignorance so profound it shocked and outraged them. He insisted that the Golden Stool be brought forth so that he could sit on it, demonstrating British dominance over the Ashanti. In his infamous speech, Hodgson declared, "What must I do to the man, whoever he is, who has failed to give to the Queen, who is the paramount power in the country, the stool to which she is entitled? Where is this Golden Stool? Why am I not sitting on the Golden Stool at this moment? I am the representative of the paramount power. Why have you relegated me to this chair? Why did you not take the opportunity of my coming to Kumasi to bring the Golden Stool and give it to me to sit upon?" A stunned silence likely met his words. Was he joking? Or was this the ultimate assertion of dominance? To the Asante, it was neither. It was a declaration of war on their very spirit, an attempt to desecrate their most sacred treasure. The Asante leaders present at this meeting maintained a strategic silence, neither revealing the stool's location nor openly defying the governor. But as soon as the meeting ended, the drums of resistance began to beat. In the secret meeting that followed Hodgson's demand, many Asante chiefs hesitated. Perhaps they were battle-weary or demoralized by previous defeats and their king's exile. Defeat seemed inevitable. It was Yaa Asantewaa, the queen of the Ejisu states, who famously rose to challenge the men's reluctance. She was a regent, a spiritual leader, and a gatekeeper of the Golden Stool. Witnessing the men's wavering, she rose and delivered a speech that would echo through Asante's history. "Now I have seen that some of you fear to go forward to fight for our king. If it were in the brave old days, the days of Osei Tutu, Okomfo Anokye, and Opokuwari, chiefs would not sit down to see their king taken away without firing a shot. No white man could have dared to speak to a chief of the Asante in the way the governor spoke to you chiefs this morning. If you, the men of Asante, will not go forward, then we will. We, the women, will. I shall call upon my fellow women. We will fight the white man. We will fight till the last of us falls in the battlefields." Her words were a lightning strike. Shame turned to resolve. Fear turned to fury. Yaa Asantewaa was chosen as the Osahene, the war leader of the Asante forces, an unprecedented role for a woman, a testament to her extraordinary spirit and the desperation of the hour. The War of the Golden Stool, also known as the Yaa Asantewaa War, had begun. The spark of war ignited on March 28, 1900, quickly blazed into a ferocious conflict. Asante forces in a well-planned ambush overwhelmed a British contingent dispatched to locate the sacred hidden Golden Stool. The few British survivors managed to retreat to the fort in Kumasi, only to find themselves besieged by thousands of Asante warriors. For several months, the siege wore on. Inside the fort, the defenders faced dwindling supplies and the relentless spread of disease. Governor Hodgson, the man whose action had precipitated the chaos, along with his wife and a small group of soldiers, executed a desperate escape in June. In response, the British dispersed a substantial relief column under the command of Major James Wilcox. This force battled its way through Asante territory, finally breaking the siege of Kumasi in mid-July 1900. Following the relief of the fort, British forces launched a series of punitive expeditions throughout the Asante Kingdom. Militarily, the War of the Golden Stool concluded as a British victory. The Asante's resistance was effectively suppressed, leading directly to the formal annexation of Asante as a British Crown colony in 1902. Key Asante leaders, including the inspirational Yaa Asantewaa, was captured in 1901 and subsequently exiled to the Seychelles Islands. The war inflicted significant casualties on both sides. Estimates suggest over 1,000 losses for the British and their allies, while the Asante suffered around 2,000 casualties, a toll higher than all previous Anglo-Asante conflicts combined. However, Despite the military defeat and the loss of political independence, the Asante achieved their most crucial objective. The Sika Dwa Kofi, the sacred Golden Stool, and the very soul of the nation remained safe. It remained hidden, untouched, its sanctity preserved. The Asante had lost the battle, but in their hearts, they had won a profound spiritual victory. Following their defeat, the Asante employed cultural preservation tactics. The stool was hidden in remote forest sanctuaries protected by a decentralized network of guardians who maintained its rituals without centralized coordination. This strategy proved so effective that the British forces never located the original stool despite extensive search operations. Thus, the Golden Stool remained hidden and untouched by foreign hands, preserving the soul of the nation. This outcome reinforced the understanding that Asante identity could survive even the loss of political independence as long as the Golden Stool remained protected. A significant incident occurred that again highlighted the stool's supreme importance in Asante culture. Decades had passed. In 1920, a group of African road workers, by pure chance, stumbled upon the Golden Stool's hiding place. Oblivious to its sacred nature, they stripped some of its gold ornaments. This desecration sent shockwaves through the Asante nation. The culprits were swiftly apprehended and under traditional Asante law, sentenced to death. The British colonial authorities intervened, commuting the sentence to banishment. But the incident was a stark lesson. The British finally belatedly began to grasp the depth of the Golden Stool's significance. They issued formal assurances that they would never again interfere with the stool. This was an implied admission of its unique status, a recognition that some things lay beyond colonial control. This accidental discovery and its aftermath forced a profound shift. The British realized that to govern the Asante, they couldn't simply rule by force. Destroying or controlling the stool would make the Asante ungovernable. As one colonial office correspondent in 1925 noted, the stool's invisible authority proves more durable than our visible administration. Indirect rule, working through traditional authorities, became the new strategy. The Golden Stool, once a target, became a silent, powerful bargaining chip, allowing the Asante to negotiate a degree of autonomy. It is interesting to note that British attempts to control the Golden Stool ultimately amplified its significance, transforming a regional artifact into a global symbol of cultural resilience. The Ashanti's successful protection of the stool despite military defeat created a blueprint for anti-colonial resistance that prioritized symbolic sovereignty over territorial control. This dynamic forced colonial administrators into unprecedented concessions, establishing early precedents for indirect rule that would shape Britain's imperialism across Africa. The War of the Golden Stool and the unwavering defense of this sacred object became a cornerstone of Asante and Ghanaian identity. Yaa Asantewaa transformed into a national icon, a symbol of courage, female leadership, and fierce resistance against colonial oppression. The Golden Stool itself, having survived centuries of conflict and colonial ambition, stands as a potent emblem of cultural resilience. It proved that a nation's spirit could endure even when its political independence was lost. Its story is a testament to the profound power of cultural symbols, to the idea that a people's identity, their collective memory, their spiritual heart, can be more resilient than empires. Today, the original Sika Dwa Kofi continues to be meticulously preserved, its exact location still a closely guarded secret. The current Asantehene, Okomfo Osei Tutu II, enthroned in 1999, serves as the primary custodian of the Golden Stool, continuing the unbroken line of guardianship that stretches back to the stool's creation in the 17th century. It appears publicly only on the most momentous ceremonial occasions, always under strict security, its mystic undiminished. The Golden Stool is not a relic of a bygone era. It is a living symbol, the enduring soul of the Asante nation, a golden thread connecting the past, the present, and the future. yet to come.